Now, that doesn't mean we're always wrong and bad, but the question is if you're continuously searching for something else and you're not finding it, well, then maybe we have to look at what's that one piece that we can control, but we don't always because we're hoping that that other person, that other relationship, that other job, that other business opportunity, that other program within your business is going to be the solution. Hello, everybody. And I want to say Happy New Year because we need to say that. I know the new year was a couple days ago, but it's the first working day back. And now, we can't say it's just time around to still sit and have cookies. We have to get to work. So, thank you for joining me today. Michael Sherlock, CEO of Shock Your Potential, which is a global professional services and training company, and of Kukua Biz, where we find great virtual assistants for small businesses like me, frankly. And today you're here because we have the tantalizing topic of clear the rubble. How do you build a new healthy foundation? And I thought this was good because, we're talking about new things, new year. Maybe you have a new job, maybe a new business. But regardless of what it is, oh, maybe even new relationship. The question is when you have something new, well, what do you do with it? How do you maximize that opportunity? And how do you figure out how to do it better? So let's dive in a little bit to why this topic, why today? Because it's not just about New Year and not just about New Year's resolutions. In fact, I'm not a big proponent of New Year's resolutions, but I am a very big proponent of new. And before we have new, we have to take some time for reflection. I know it's that thing I always talk about. You travel everywhere with your mirror if you can pretend your hand is a mirror. And every once in a while, you have to pull it up there and look at yourself. So, why this topic? Yeah, I know it's the beginning of a new year. You'd think that that was about the time, but that's really not why. Lately, I've been going through a retreat with the business coaching group that I work with called Business Miracles. And we've been asking this question about what do you need to leave behind to let go of before you're able to move forward and let new things in. It's been a great topic. And in fact, if you want to learn more about this organization that I'm a part of, I highly advise you to not only listen to our January 7th podcast, 2022 podcast with Heather Dominic, who's CEO of Business Miracles, but also to listen to our commercial because they are our sponsor for the month for the podcast. And that's mostly because I'm just so excited about my participation. See, what their organization does is they work with highly sensitive leaders. And that doesn't mean like you get your feelings hurt a lot, although in my case, and we're going to talk about that today, that really is one of the things. So, but it's about people whose sensory system through their central nervous system is operates differently, a lot more sensitive to data input in a lot of ways. And I just give a little of that background because it's so helpful to me when I'm looking at change to ask that question of why am I resisting it, or why am I needing it, or what is this emotional reaction that I'm having to change, and what do I need to do about that? So it's allowed me to become much more reflective for myself, and I've thought I've always been pretty good about that. But so here's the answer that I came up with. There's something really important that I need to let go of in order to move forward with a new year and new goals for my businesses, as well as new opportunities for me personally. So I'm going to share that, and then I'm going to get a little bit more in depth on this. So number one, what I need to let go of from a personal standpoint is taking things personally, like really taking them personally. And I'll talk a little bit about why as we go along. Another thing that I need to let go of is analysis paralysis, or also known as perfectionism. And the reason that I need to let these things go is that they get in my way of moving forward, of continual fresh starts. And in fact, I like to think of every day as a fresh start, not just a year or a new project or a new business, but that opportunity for a fresh start every day and how we approach it. And those two things get in my way. Now, let's talk about why this is coming up. Recently, I was talking to someone that I know and care very much for, and she was about to start a new job. And she was very excited about the new job. And as we talked about it, I said, "So tell me, what are you most excited about in this new job? Like your new responsibilities, the new place you're working, the new role, the new paycheck? What is it?" And she said, "Honestly, the thing I'm most excited about is having a new environment, one that's not toxic, one that doesn't drain me, one that doesn't burn me out." And I went, wow, I could hear myself from the past, from, the last couple decades, saying similar things. So, of course, me asking her, "Tell me more." Oh, wait. Oh, like my book, "Tell me more." I'm like, "Tell me more. Tell me about why it's so important for you to have a fresh start with a place with less toxicity, less stress, less drama." And as we talked through it, we realized that she's switched jobs several times in the last 10 years. And every time it was because she was looking for a healthier environment. So, of course, me being me, I can't stop myself. And people should know this before they talk to me, is that I finally said, "So tell me about the other jobs you left." And as we kind of unpacked, how I like to talk about unpacking, we realized that every one of those jobs she left for another job because she wanted a healthier environment. Now, I hate to break it to you all. There's really no such thing as a completely healthy work environment. There are some that are better than others, but let's just cut to the chase. There's no such thing as a completely healthy work environment. Why? Because we're dealing with human beings, and not every human being is healthy. And not every human being is a good leader or creates a good, positive work environment. But the common denominator when she and I got talking was her. Just like me in other cases, the common denominator is always us. So if we're looking for that new job, that new relationship, that new business, something that's going to be the answer to all our problems, the solution to what we think our woes are, we have to recognize, first of all, that we're the common denominator. Now, that doesn't mean we're always wrong and bad. But the question is, if you're continuously searching for something else, and you're not finding it, well, then maybe we have to look at what's that one piece that we can control, but we don't always, because we're hoping that that other person, that other relationship, that other job, that other business opportunity, that other program within your business is going to be the solution. And I'm not saying that it won't be, but the key is, have you taken the time to reflect first? And so we talked a little bit about strategies for her. So this comes back this is going to come full circle here. I also started thinking at the same time about, the example of a home. So my husband and I have been in our home a little more than 10 years, 10 and a half years. And when we bought our home 10 and a half years ago, it had been completely gutted and redone. So it was an old house. This house was built in 1850 something. So it's an old house. The foundation was strong, but the insides had to be completely gutted and redone. And so now it's a beautiful house, and I've been here 10 and a half years, and I think, well, it seems like a brand new house to me still after 10 and a half years. But when you take a look at the walls or the stairs or, the doorknobs, there's things that aren't as brand new as they were before. It's starting to show wear and tear. There's places where you need to touch up the paint. There's places where you need to do some fixing. We're starting to have some electrical issues, for crying out loud. Things that are normal wear and tear if you're not spending every moment of every day completely redoing and updating everything, which none of us have the time to do, nor should we. But the question is, what happens when you live in that house for 10 years and the cracks happen and the wear and tear happens, but you don't look at it? You choose not to look at it. It's not the house's fault, it's reality. When you look at ourselves and the things that we hold on to that are those little cracks, it's not necessarily our fault that we don't see them all. But if we don't take the time to review, those cracks get bigger and bigger. Now, what happens when all those cracks in your home start to show? Well, hopefully you're going to start to fix them, in which case you can keep up with them. Or you can find when the issues get bigger and bigger, like our little electrical problem, we're going to take care of that before it becomes a massive problem. Or you can choose to avoid them, and the house will slowly deteriorate around you. And maybe then you say, hey, I'm done with this house. I'm going to move. I don't want to fix those problems. I just want to move to a bright, shiny new house. But the thing is in another 10 years, that bright, shiny new house is also going to have cracks and wears and tears and things that have, allowed it to erode just a little bit. Now, obviously, you see where I'm going with this. We have the same issues as human beings. We have wear and tear. We have cracks that show through. We also have things that we don't do well or correctly to maintain ourselves personally, professionally. And I don't just mean like getting heavy or out of shape. I mean about building relationships, about keeping in healthy mindsets with our work. I mean about how we interact with ourselves and others. So let's go back to this. At what point in time do you have so many cracks, so much wear and tear that you have to rebuild? Or do you sometimes just need to fix some areas, but you have to not just put patches on them because they're more significant? And in order to move forward, maybe you don't have to tear down the whole house, but maybe you have to really make a change in that one room, that one wall, that one electrical system where you say, you know what, in order to fix this now, I have to gut this portion. I have to clear away the rubble because in order to rebuild, I have to recognize that there's some issues that have to be addressed. When I started talking to my friend about this job move with her, it was painful for her because it was about recognizing, look, when she looked back, there were times that she participated, not maybe not in creating a bad work environment, but in accepting it or not trying to change it, or also getting caught up in the drama, caught up in the stress, where she could have taken other paths to keep herself mentally healthy. In fact, when I asked her about her previous positions, and I said, if you look back over time, is there any one of those jobs that you really wish would have worked out? And she could pinpoint it to one of them a couple jobs before. And she said, I loved the job. I loved my customers. I loved what I did every day, but I just couldn't take it anymore. And when I asked her, what could you have done differently? Could you have done anything differently? And she said, honestly, I don't know what I could have done. I could not have fixed the culture. But what I said is, when you move forward into the next job, what could you have done to not take the pain and the hurt of leaving that job that you loved into the next job? And we had a really great conversation about how she went in hoping the next one would be great and realizing it wasn't, but recognizing she actually came in with a little bit of a chip on her shoulder and a little bit of pain that she didn't know how to move past. I said, there's the opportunity. There's the space. When you're ready to move into something new, when we carry along the baggage from the past, whether it's hurts, it's our own patterns, it's our own things that we need to let go. When we carry those things forward with us, we're carrying those cracks in the wall. We're carrying the wear and tear on the home into the next home with us, inside of us. So, how do we clear that rubble away? So let me come back full circle. So, as I shared with you, as I've been going through this really fantastic training with the Business Miracles group, is this question of what do I let go of? And I shared with you two things that I know I need to let go of in order to let new things in. And the first one was taking things personally. So let me just tell a quick story about recognizing this in my own personal life is that because I also want things always to be perfect, including me and how I operate and what I do, and I want everything to come out perfectly operational, and it doesn't. When somebody recognizes maybe a fault in me, or maybe they say something that they don't even mean to be criticizing me, but I take it as criticism because my mind wants perfection and I'm taking it personally. That is not fair to that person. And that is definitely not fair to me, but really, it's mostly not fair to that other person who I've now brought into my house that's falling down. My desire to have perfectionism, but also the desire to wait so long to try and get things perfect that I get into analysis paralysis. So, what happens with this? It becomes this perfect storm. And if I don't recognize that my desire for perfection, that is built on analysis paralysis that doesn't allow me to get to perfection because I can't ever reach it, and that gets me caught up in getting my feelings hurt if somebody doesn't think I'm fabulous because despite all my faults, then all I'm doing is keeping myself from success. I need to clear that rubble away. I need to recognize those things, and then I need to move forward with it. So let's take up one more step, one last step, and that is, what do I want to let in? So if I need to clear those things like taking things personally or analysis paralysis or a desire perfection, and I need to clear them away to let something else come in, what I need to let come in then is not only my own sense of personal responsibility, what's my role in this, but also for me personally, it's allowing in the sense of just do things, just do it. Now, before we went into this live broadcast today, I was like, oh, I totally forgot. I haven't put the little border up on my StreamYard thing when I'm Zooming. Oh, I want to have it have my logo on there and look perfect. And I thought, Sherlock, this is what your whole topic's about. Just throw your name up there and your company information up there. That's all that matters right now. Get the message out. Let the world hear what you want to say and worry about the rest later. Because absolutely within me, what I want to let out, not just in this new year, but in all new days and all new opportunities, is a sense of do what feels right, what you know intuitively feels right. And I know my intuition is very strong. I know it's good. That doesn't mean I will always do everything right. That's okay. It doesn't matter. That's what I need to let in, is that sense of it doesn't matter. But to let it in, I have to clear the rubble. Those pieces that I keep tripping over, the wear and tear on the walls that you don't want to look at because then you know if you see it, you have to fix it. You might have to go get the paint. You might have to get some spackle. You might have to call an electrician, but you know that those things need to be done. Now's the time to say to yourself, what rubble do I need to clear away? So, my challenge to you is this: as we look into shocking our potential in 2022, there's going to be a lot of questions about how we do it. And I'm going to take you through a lot of them. Every week, we're going to start out with a live broadcast and we're going to have some fun with it. But as we dive into this, I want you to keep this question in the back of your mind. What do you need to clear away? And what will it mean to your new foundation when you clear it away? When you get rid of all the pieces that are in your way and instead start building them and rebuilding them the way you want to. I'm glad you guys joined me today for our question on clearing the rubble, AKA, how do I get past the stuff that's keeping me from really achieving my goals and shocking my potential? And if you want to learn more about us, definitely follow us at shockyourpotential.com. And one last little thing, if you are somebody who wants to have more media attention, in other words, you want to have your message be resonating on television news programs across the world, I encourage you to pop me a little email at michael@shockyourpotential.com, because we have something very exciting that we're launching here in the next couple weeks. And if you want and know that your message is something that needs to be shared with the world, then you want to be a part of it. So thank you again for joining me today. I am happy to say today is a day I've cleared some rubble. It's time to rebuild.